Catching up with Brendan O'Friel, chairman of Travel Watch in the Isle of Man. We just caught up with you at another event, hence the background here. But it was good actually, because obviously so much is always going on. We've got the planes, we've got charges possibly for parking. What is the state of play with your group at the minute?
We're very interested in the way the government are going about consulting about the changes they're going to make to bus fares, particularly concessionary fares, and of course there is the issue of parking. And in some ways these are interrelated, because higher parking may drive more people onto using public transport. But the important thing is the government have put out really quite a good paper setting out the problems that there are and setting out some of the options. What I'm just a trifle disappointed about is I'd have liked to have seen costed options so that we got some idea what they would save if they did this option, or what they'd save if they did another option, because at the moment we've not really got much of an idea about what would really save the money and what therefore is the most important of the decisions.
Okay, starting charging on the buses then for elderly people and the school children. Your views?
Well, it's pretty plain if you look at other jurisdictions that charging for children travelling to and from school is very common, and there are increasingly, unfortunately, restrictions coming upon old age pensioners and others who would qualify for concessionary fares. So it's no surprise to see the government moving in that direction. What we will want to look at very carefully from Travel Watch's point of view is that the vulnerable are protected, and the government, to be fair to them, have noted that that's an issue and that they must look at. But we need to remember that, for example, the concessionary fares for children, the free bus fares, they've only been in since 2002 on the island, so they're a relatively recent innovation over here, and many of the more mature people who listen to this programme will remember paying some charge when they travel to school on a bus, admittedly a subsidised one.
Now, parking charges, of course, can presumably put more people onto buses, I suppose. I mean, is that a good thing for you? Is that what you'd like to see more people doing?
I don't think we've got a particular view on that. What we have got a view on is that where parking contributes significantly to joined up travel, for example at the airport and the sea terminal, we would want to see that that's taken full account of, so that people who want to travel across on the steam packet or at the airport are not faced with exorbitant parking charges. So there's a balance to be found, as there nearly always is with these things.
And how are you with the sea terminal still, maybe the bus station? Is that still something that you'd like to see go ahead?
Well, the good news was that the rather cracked idea, I think, of turning Victoria Street into some sort of a bus interchange, that's fallen by the wayside. But we are in need of a proper plan for a proper bus interchange in Douglas. I mean, the island deserves one, it needs one. We're right out of line with the situation, say, at Jersey, where they've got quite a nice modern bus station, and we really should be keeping that well up on our priority lists.
Actually, I think the last time we did something with Travel Watch was down at the Villa Marina, and they were talking about the flights and what was going to go on with London. So it seems that this 3 times a day to City has been well taken up. Is that right? Have you heard that as well?
We've been pleased to hear that the increased flights to City, well, it's actually the return, really, to 3 flights a day to City, because, I mean, they've been around for quite a long time. That seems to be working pretty well, and we're particularly pleased that London City looks as if it will take up some of the strain when EasyJet are reducing their flights, which they're doing this month and next month, to Gatwick and indeed to Liverpool. So we're pleased to see other people are stepping up to the mark a bit there.
And yet their flights also seem to be doing the business. They just simply need the aircraft, I presume, elsewhere in these peak times. But you keep your finger on that one, do you?
We keep an eye on it. What's always been our anxiety about any of these airlines, frankly, is that they are not committed long-term to the island, because the island needs long-term commitment for its travel, whether it's by sea or air, because our lifeline routes are really important. And that's all that Travel Watch has been really pressing for when we meet government and indeed in our public statements.
Well, Guernsey's just taken control. I mean, their own government has bought this jet, or loaned the money to the company to buy the jet, which is actually owned by the government anyway. But your views on that? Should governments be running airlines?
Well, it's an option, but it's an option that's not straightforward. People who sort of say we should definitely be doing this probably haven't done all the maths, but it is a possibility. And what Guernsey's demonstrated is that you can actually do these things. What are pressing the government, continue to press the government for, is to make sure we've got contingency plans so that if one of the big airlines were to pull out of the island, we've got some method of keeping our lifeline routes open. So it's contingency plans that we're pressing for more than anything else.
But surely supply and demand at the end of the day dictates this.
Well, it does, but as we've argued, as in the case of Guernsey, they have got a form of light air regulation. Now, we've got regulation for sea, and there's regulation in many areas of our lives. We believe that some form of light air regulation, at the very least, should be part of the contingency plans for the government if one of the big airlines were to pull out and leave us in a very sad condition.